All right, sitting in my car in the rain. Sometimes I have my best thoughts like this. First, let me say, I got my car out of the way. A decent little used car to get back and forth to work. That was quite the fucking task, trying to get this out of the way. My insurance is through the roof. But if you're a working class person, you understand all of that language. Anyway, so like I said, I'm always trying to come up with something meaningful to say. I don't want to keep going over the same old stuff. And what's been a reoccurring thing with me lately and throughout my life is the rejection. I thought that was a thing for kids. But turns out, well into adulthood, you're experiencing it. I don't care if you're just being rejected at a restaurant, you can't get in, or whatever it may be. Me, I experience it. It comes at me from a lot of different angles because of my history. People always, there's always a skepticism there, always. And maybe, I don't even know if rejection is the right word, but if there's a skepticism, that's a sense of rejection to me, you know? Not that I don't understand. You know, you got to have empathy if you want to, you know, understand how the world works. You're going to need a little bit of empathy. You have to understand how someone else is thinking, right? But it gets old. It gets old. So I'm the type of guy that's like, I ain't going to fucking prove myself to nobody. But it turns out sometimes you kind of do. If you're trying to pursue quality of life, I guess you got to take, you know, what comes with it. You know, I'm trying to get there. You know, I never experienced quality of life. You know, it's a kind of a new thing for me. I'm used to anguish, anger, violence. Anger is what got me through everything. And as a kid, when I experienced rejection, let's say I was a kid from the inner city, you know, going to school with ripped clothes. I didn't have parents raising me; the streets raised me, and I would use violence to get those kids to stop, you know, snickering behind my back. You know, that was a sense of rejection to me. I couldn't be accepted. But turns out, after I committed the violence on these kids, you know, just fist fight, you know, hitting a kid with a bottle, whatever it might be. We're talking 5th grade here, and they would start to respect me. Of course, you know, I know now that's false respect, but it did stop the snickering. It's not a good way to learn. It's not a good behavior to learn, but I learned it. I learned through violence you can, you know, shut some fucking people up. But kids are mean, and that's just the way it is. But I never did well with that. I never did well with rejection. I always anger would get the better of me, and that's how I responded. But now, of course, you know, I'm in a different place in life. So, and on rejection, sometimes it's subtle. You know, I'm trying to think of something specific, but I'd rather not be too specific. But it's subtle. You know, could be just applying for a job and you get rejected because of your history. The thing is, I know it's a normal thing, but if you're an ex-con, you'll experience it tenfold. It seems like, and sometimes it probably creates a little bit of a paranoia if you did time, because you start to think everything's a rejection. Well, sometimes you just, you know, you don't qualify or whatever, right? But for me, I know the same energy I would put into using anger and violence to quell that fucking noise, well, I now put that energy into just trying to do well. The best way to get revenge or to resolve that is to do well in life. Of course, like I keep saying, I'm on the bottom rung of the ladder. I got a ways to go, but I can get there, and I will. So, you know, I guess my point is, if you're listening to this and you have your share of rejection in life, what do you do about it? I guess that's the key question here. How do you handle it? A lot of us can be petty. You know, we strike back one way or another. I'll show them. I have that I'll show them mentality, but I'll show them by doing well. But I mean, let's face it, you got people out there, women, men, you might flatten somebody's fucking car tires or do something silly. I don't know. But what I've learned, I think I've mentioned the author's name before, and it doesn't come to me now. How to, you know, make your pain your strength. Rejection can be painful sometimes. Like even for me, like when I'm rejected, even as an adult, one way or another, it kind of always makes me reflect back to when I was a kid in the West End of Providence. You know, I don't know why. It's just, I go right back to that time as a kid rejected by society, in general. And my complaint would be like, this shit never ends. Well, but I'm over that now. I mean, if you want to commit crime your whole fucking life, and you gotta might as well, you gotta expect the consequences of that, right? Now I humbly receive rejection, and I just stay the course. I use it to keep me stabilized, to stay the course, I guess. So, being patient and knowing how to fucking utilize anger or stress and make it your strength, it's a little bit of a talent. Once you master it, though, man, there's nothing you can't do. Because getting angry before, you make irrational decisions when you're angry, right? But if you can get angry and control it and harness your anger and utilize it, man, and that's probably one of my biggest strengths, is I've learned to harness the anger. I've learned to be a little more patient, because I'm an impatient bastard. But so you guys are looking at me at the early stages of someone trying to climb out of that dark hole, man. That dark history. And it's Ryland's small. I know a lot of people. All eyes are on me. It feels like sometimes. People, fucking gossipers and nosy people. They want to know. Some people are cheering me on. Others are hoping for me to fail for their own, whatever their reason may be. But that shit gets all convoluted, and you can't let it get in your head. If you're experiencing rejection somewhere in your life right now, because it can have an impact on you. Some people, it makes them self-conscious. It can fuck people up. It really can. No one will admit that, of course. That don't bother me. Yeah, I know it. Yeah, not too many people receive rejection well. You feel slighted, right? And I was definitely one of those guys. But somehow I managed to... I've been on a mission to control my fucking anger for a long time. It was making me ill. Bearing grudges all the time. I still have it. It's just sitting on a shelf. And sometimes when I need to, I reach up on that shelf, I grab it. But I got to be careful how I respond. I can't make any mistakes. There's no room for error for me. So I had to harness that anger. And part of harnessing that anger was dealing with rejection. So, I don't know, I was trying to make a point, I'm kind of forgetting it. But I guess my point is, I bet you everyone listening to this can think to a time they felt rejected, or they fear an upcoming rejection for something they're maybe trying to applying for a job. Maybe it's somebody you just met. You're hoping they don't reject you once they get to know you better. Whatever it may be, that shit's all, psychologically, it's impactful, right? So, imagine if you can get a grip on that or harness that fear that sits in the back of your mind of being rejected for something. It's pretty fucking deep. It's pretty strong. I mean, I might not have a whole lot going on in life right now, but I got a certain few qualities that people would fucking pay $1 million for, right? So, I guess all I can say on it is what I've been saying. If you somehow harness that feeling that you get when you're being rejected for something, or that fear you're feeling an upcoming rejection is possible, I know I can say all the simple stuff. Tell yourself it's going to be all right and all that. Well, maybe it ain't going to be all right. Maybe you fucking wreaks havoc in your fucking brain. You don't got to tell nobody that. But a lot of us, things, they rent space in our head. Me, now that I'm thinking about it more, when I experienced the rejection, the first thing I do is I go back to the drawing board on something I'm working on, whether it be a book I want to finish. I use it as a motivating force because I'm not a lazy person, but I do tend to start things and not finish because I take on too many things at once. But whenever I find myself slacking, anytime something happens negative in my life, whether it be rejection or I don't know, the fucking probation shaking me down for money. I got that in the mail the other day. That's the last thing I need is another fucking bill. But these are all things that can rent space in your head if you're not careful, especially someone like me who's lived outside the law his whole life. I mean, most of you listening, this is all normal stuff. You're like, what's the big deal, Dean? This is normal. Well, if you put yourself in my shoes, it's an abnormal thing. The normal things for you is abnormal for me. But now, I've been out long enough and I've wrapped my mind around, what it is to have a quality of life and what it is to accept normal everyday things. You know, the stresses of life. I mean, what the fuck? I'm not special. I got to get on board with the rest of the planet, right? Got to get up, go to work, blah, blah, blah. But still, having said all that, you all know what I'm talking about. That being rejected feeling, it kind of sits you down, wreaks havoc in your subconscious, makes you fucking question yourself. Depends on what it is. Those are all things, you know, it's an emotional thing to be rejected, right? Depends on what it is, I guess, is the level of emotional backlash there is. But it's become so easy for me to deal with it now. Maybe I just got used to it because it happens so often. Behind my back, you know, I'm smiling in my face, the fucking knife is in your back as soon as you turn your back. You know how it goes. Fucking guy, been in prison his whole life, he thinks he's gonna fucking, whatever the fuck they're thinking, right? And I already, you know, and I don't want to be paranoid about it because that ain't always the case. Sometimes you might overthink it. You got to watch out for that. But if you can find a way, like I found a way, I'm not saying it doesn't still rent space in my head a little bit, but I quickly overcome it. That's my strength, really. I'll find myself feeling a certain way about rejection. And then before it'd be like I'm almost pouting. I'll fucking show them and I'll do something fucking mean-spirited or some fucking thing. I don't know. I just didn't respond well. Now I could take it with a smile and cool, calm, and collected in a way. Where most people think, oh my God, he's going to fucking explode when he finds this out. No, I'm not. People just have a misconception about a guy with a reputation of violence. A lot of times they don't understand that violence was necessary. I was in an environment where it was necessary. I could differentiate from fucking punching an old lady crossing the street because she cut me walking across the street and a guy in a can. But people don't realize that they sometimes can't quite wrap their mind around it. They just think, you know, violent all the way around. And there are people like that, but those are called psychopaths. I like to think I'm a little more evolved than that. But to stay on the topic of rejection or how I deal with it, I don't know. I can fucking kind of take that rejection on the chin, and I find a place that needs fuel, something I'm working on. I might even get a little angry about it, but I take it and I put it into whatever that little project is I'm working on. It's funny how I get shit done. Where under normal circumstances, I would have drag my feet a little bit. Put a little anger in me, that gives me a little fucking energy. And I just keep, whatever it is I'm doing, it's just pushing forward. I'm pushing forward with each fucking little slight and every little rejection, and there's many. When you're me, and perhaps I earned it by most people's fucking judgment, you know. The thing about me is, though, people are confused. They assume I'm just a moralist fucking asshole. Maybe I lack certain moral fibers by the standards of some people. But I don't fuck my friends over. I don't steal from my fucking family. You know, I didn't do none of that type of shit. You know, I don't abuse women. You know, I might have been an asshole of a fucking boyfriend or whatever, but I don't abuse them fucking physically. So I have a lot of good qualities already. But people only remember you for the bad things. And the funny thing is that the better I do, the more slights you seem to get on the way up, because people think you don't deserve to get that type of fucking recognition or that type of respect. Some people think if you've been in the can, you should just be down in the fucking gutter, unless they can benefit off you somehow. In any event, I'm probably getting off track here, and I'm hoping this video have some substance to it. My message really is, because I'm going through that rejection phase again, I've been dealing with it a lot lately. You use it as your strength, you know. That's strength of character. If you can use rejection as your fucking strength or a slight as your strength. And I take that energy and I pour it into something else, some unfinished business I got. Maybe I got to finish up a book. If you slight me big enough, hopefully somebody does, I'll finish this fucking book I'm working on. So come on, give me what you got. But anyway, that's all I got, man. That shit doesn't always just come to me, man. I'm no guru or nothing like that. I'm just a guy trying to, you know, get back to life, so to speak, trying to adjust out here. And I like to show you how it's going with each step. Because listen, I was getting frustrated as hell over a car. It wasn't looking very promising. And then you know, which I'll talk about another time, this car lot, these guys work with me down there, man. You just, sometimes you catch that break, you know, that little break. In any event, so I hope this was useful to somebody, because I know somebody that's listening right now is feeling that rejection. I think everybody does. I can imagine 9,000 scenarios where you would feel it. Even if you don't know that's what it is you're feeling. If somebody says something to you and you get angry, it's probably a seed of rejection in there somewhere. They don't accept something in you or something like that. That's why else would they have fucking said something in the first place? So I guess the first thing is to maybe know what rejection is, or the many forms it comes in. That's that fucked up feeling you get when someone makes you reflect on yourself or who you are, or maybe you're not doing things right or whatever. When somebody causes you to go sit down, and sometimes you do need to be humbled, right? Sometimes it does you good to be humbled, but sometimes it's unnecessary and it impacts you, right? A guy like me, it impacted me in a real bad way. I would get angry and violent. The fuck? You gotta watch who you're insulting in this world. Other people, some fucking teenage girl might go fucking starve herself half to fucking death. Some other guy might, I don't know, take it out on his fucking wife and become abusive. There's a drawback to it, you know, being rejected. And it makes you look at yourself or look down on yourself in a way. I'm not coming up with the right terminology, but to be rejected by someone can send you, you know, into a dark place. So that's why I bring it up, because I used to be a guy that went to a dark place, and now I don't. Now, all it does is motivate me. So that's all I got. I hope this makes some type of sense to somebody. I'm sure I'll hear from some of you guys. Let me know what you think.